See, our minds are so double-minded, but we're so accustomed to it that we think that it's normal. Well, we don't understand that when you're double-minded, one mind want to go with God and one mind want to go with the devil. And that's what we do. So when you look at James 1, let's look at verse 2. He said, my brethren, count it all joy when you fall into various trials. Say that again. Count it all joy when you fall into various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience. But let patience have its perfect work, so that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all the liberty and without reproach, and it will be given unto him. But let him ask in faith, with no doubting. When I begin to look up that word doubting, it means diacono. And diacono means I separate myself from God. I waver myself from God. I distinguish, I discern one thing from another. It's where I choose to be back and forth. One minute I believe God, the next minute I don't. I go to church and my faith is built up. I go back home, the bill collector call me, and I go back to unbelief. It's where you come to a place to doubt means you literally disconnect yourself away from God. What you mean, Pastor? I'm talking about, well, when you went to the doctor said ABC is wrong with you. And all of a sudden, now you frustrated, you crying, and whatever the signs and symptoms the doctor say you got, you start to manifest it. Now what you have done is disconnected yourself from God. It's where we come to a place where it seems like things are getting worse. Things are getting hard. I don't see how God is going to work it out. It's when you disconnect yourself away from God. And seeing God is looking at us, you got to understand, when you disconnect yourself, you now come into covenant with the devil. You come in covenant into whatever that the devil said he's going to do to you. When you don't believe God, you're coming into covenant with the devil. And you ain't got to say nothing to come in covenant with the devil. It says here, you got to operate in faith without doubting. But he who doubts, let's put, instead of say doubt, say separate. Yeah. Whoever separates themselves from God is like a wave of the sea, driven and tossed by the wind. For let not that man suppose that he will receive anything from the Lord. He is a double-minded man, unstable in all his ways. When you look up that word double-minded, it means dakusos. It means to have two souls, to have two minds, two heads, where you're always wavering, where you're divided, where one mind belongs to God, one mind belongs to the devil, where one mind belongs to rejection, the other one mind belongs to rebellion. Is where you're in a place where the enemy have come in and somebody has offended you. Your daddy left you. Your mother left you. Where it automatically opens up the door to rejection. See, we got to understand how double-mindedness works. Double-mindedness is rooted in rejection and rebellion. Because see, when we operate in rejection, rejection stops you from being who God, who created you to be. What am I saying? I'm saying that that person who you love and they turn around and start acting funny on you. If you do not go to that altar or get in prayer and begin to start letting God help you and heal you, it causes you to be rejected. Because in your mind, you feeling, why I'm not good enough? Why did they abandon me? How come they left? How come they put me to the side? How come I'm not good enough? And see, and what it does is it causes us not to be who God has called and ordained for us to be. Because in our mind, now we walk around like we damaged goods. We put on the front like we good, when really we damaged. And see, it causes us to make a case. Because the people who it makes it where when we operate through the eyes of rejection is where when we look at other people and we always see their fault. We see what they do. We see they ain't speak to me today. They acting funny. They supposed to be saved. They supposed to love me. Why they acting like that? And see, what it does is it gets our minds off the truth. And it causes us to start walking in deception. It causes us to be so comfortable with going to church and not letting God deal with us, because rejection makes you put up a case to put the charges on everybody else, and it makes you deal with everybody else instead of dealing with yourself. Amen. Right. Amen. And see, and God's saying that's not how He wants us to be. Because see, when God is knocking on your heart, it's saying, let me deal with because daddy left. Let me deal with because your husband left. Let me deal with because your friend left. If whoever rejected you, and see, it causes us to operate in rebellion. Because see, now that's a vulnerable place. That's a place where everybody knows me to be strong, but now I don't want to be weak. See, now I'm so caught up on the opinion of what people think about me. Now I don't want God to heal me because I don't want nobody to see that it's me that's dealing with this rejection. So now I begin to rebel against the very person that can heal me.